welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to do a quick discussion and demonstration on this rare amp. This is a 1962 Gibson GA-78 RVT. So I have a new microphone set up, and it's good that I do because this is going to be a little bit of a challenge to record because this Gibson is a stereo amp. There's actually two amplifiers in here, and we have two 10-inch speakers that are angled, and it really plays the room. As you walk around the room, it can kind of sound pretty fantastic, but then in other parts it can kind of sound broken. So recording this is kind of a challenge. So what I'm going to do is, after we do a little tour of the amp, I'm going to put the mic on this Lionel signal, and we're going to put the mic back maybe about 6 feet. I think that's the best way to capture the stereo imaging of this amp. But let's take a quick tour of this Gibson. So this amp didn't need that much work. We had a bad cathode cap, it needed some general servicing. Okay, we have our two 10s. These JBLs were certainly not original to this amplifier. We have our power transformer, our choke, and then our cable that goes up to our power amp and preamp. We have a reverb pan back in here. Two EL84s drive this side, 15 watts, and two EL84s drive this side, 15 watts. And we have a mono stereo switch. Man, I wish you guys can smell this amp. It smells so good. It's been warming up for about 30 minutes. Okay, channel 1, right? Volume, tone. We have a stacked tone pot, so we have treble and bass here. And then we have a stacked pot for our tremolo and our reverb. So channel 1 has the effects, channel 2 is dry, volume and tone. Okay, we're in channel 1 with no effects. About 8, 9, we're pretty loud. Let's try each effect separately. So that's in stereo. Let's hear it in mono. This is going to bring both power amps together. Stereo. Channel 2 is dry. Alright, that's in stereo. Now kick it to mono. Before we venture into the schematic, I just want to make a note that the mic I bought is a mono mic. So all that talk about getting it to be a good stereo image was for naught. So sorry guys, I'm kind of new to this. So let's take a look at the schematic. We worked on a 78 RVT. RV is for reverb on a Gibson, T is for tremolo, but I cannot find a schematic for a 78 RVT. I do see a schematic for the 79 RVT, and it seems to be an identical amp. If anybody has information on that, please leave comments. So the thing to note with the tremolo circuit is it empties right here, and I have marked it right here. We call this a stereo amp. What am I actually talking about? We have two independent amps. Signal flow of channel 2, the dry channel, right? Comes in here, and goes to the phase inverter. Comes out here, we have a 15 watt amp with no feedback. The way the mono switch works, when you combine this, we now have our signal also coming up to this. And now we have a 30 watt amp. So think of the stereo mono switch as switching in between 15 watts and 30 watts. Now the tremolo is coming in here after the phase inverter. So regardless if this is in stereo or mono, you only have tremolo on one side. Reverb you do have on both sides because the reverb comes in before the phase inverter. Let's do signal flow of channel 1. Right? We plug in here. We have a gain stage. We have our tone control. Now we have our output, right? Goes to reverb drive transformer. Now V4A and B is a 7199. That's pretty clever. 7199 is expensive tube now, but it's a triode and a pentode in one. So the triode is going to feed the reverb drive. There's our pan, and then the pentode is our makeup gain. And then our output, right, comes down here into this cap, and then also through this cap where, I'm sorry, it's hard to do this and hold the phone. So the output of the reverb comes down here, where it also could be switched to this channel. So you're going to have reverb on both channels, but not tremolo. So that bottom chassis that I showed you in the bottom of the amp, that's this here. This is so simple. AC comes in. This is our cable, which goes up to the top of the amp where we have our on-off switch, our depth cap, which I removed. We have our power transformer. We have our diodes, choke, 220 microfarad filter caps. There's also filter caps on top, 1 and 2. What else can I say? Pretty awesome amp. You know, these come with reverb, these come with tremolo. They also come without any effects. Here's the GA, wait a minute. That's an oscillator. Gibson's naming conventions they're whacked, all right? So looking at a GA-79, another stereo amp. That's a tremolo oscillator. Tremolo on both sides. No, wait. All right, I'm just doing this on the fly here in real time. Yeah, Gibsons are weird. The schematics are weird. The naming conventions are weird. They were constantly changing them, and they really had low production numbers. You never know what you're going to get. But hope you enjoyed this video. And yes, I will do a little more research in microphones so we can actually get some good sound moving forward. But yeah, all right, out. Beautiful day in New York City. Beautiful.